some unfortunate news coming in this morning. Samajwadi Party founder Mulayam Singh Yadav has died. He died this morning at around 8:30 a.m. He was being treated at Gurugram's Medanta hospital. The former Chief Minister of UP had been admitted to Medanta on the 22nd of August, and Samajwadi Party has also tweeted regarding this, and Akhilesh Yadav has tweeted saying, "My respected father and everyone's leader is no more, Akhilesh Yadav." So that is the big breaking news right now. The co-founder of Samajwadi Party and former Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, who was 82 years old, has died this morning at Gurgaon's Medanta hospital. He was the founder patron of the Samajwadi Party and served for 3 non-consecutive terms as the Chief Minister of UP, and also served as the Minister of Defence for India. Let's go across to Alok Pandey now for more. Now, Alok, we do know that Mulayam Singh Yadav had been extremely unwell. Yesterday, the news had come that he was critical. He had been admitted to hospital on the 22nd of August, and this morning the news coming that he has died.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. And like you said, both the Samajwadi Party and its current chief and Mulayam Singh Yadav's son, Akhilesh Yadav, have confirmed this news via social media. Mulayam Singh Yadav was in hospital for a long time, for more than a month, in fact. More than 2 months, if I am not wrong. And in the last some days, like again you were saying, Gargi, his health was critical. In fact, yesterday the hospital in its medical bulletin, the medical bulletin that it put out, had actually said that he was quite critical, which was different from the last week when the hospital each day would say that he was critical and on life support. So that was the change yesterday, and today morning the news has come of his unfortunate demise. I think we should take a moment to ponder over his legacy also. Mr. Yadav, like you said, was the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh for 3 terms, 3 non-consecutive terms, as you said. Also, he was a multiple-term MLA, multiple-term MP. And I think he was one of the pioneers of, this politics of the MY combine, as the Samajwadi Party has been associated with, the Muslim Yadav combine, and even getting together the OBC votes, so to say, in Uttar Pradesh, in a tricky political state like Uttar Pradesh, and combining it with the Muslim vote, so to say, politically speaking, to capture power multiple times in a state as complex as Uttar Pradesh. Remember that he was the founder of the Samajwadi Party, somebody who started that party from scratch and led it to victory, the highest point perhaps, not being in his terms as Chief Minister, but in the landslide victory that the Samajwadi Party had under his leadership in the 2012 Assembly polls in Uttar Pradesh. And at that point of time, the Samajwadi Party won a majority, and everyone thought that Mulayam Singh Yadav would actually become the 4th term Chief Minister for himself, but he passed on the baton to Akhilesh Yadav, his son. He was partly ailing at that point of time. In the last 4 or 5 years, Gargi, he used to be in this post, and he was out of active politics, so to say. But I think the most dramatic moment in his political life in the last 5 or 6 years came in December 2016. I'm sure you will remember, and many of our viewers will also remember, how he and his brother Shivpal Yadav got together to expel Akhilesh Yadav and his cousin Ram Gopal Yadav, who's a Rajya Sabha MP, from the Samajwadi Party. And this was after months of bickering between Akhilesh Yadav, who was the Chief Minister, and Shivpal Yadav, who was a prominent cabinet minister in the UP government. And so Mulayam expelled his own son, but of course Akhilesh later took control of the party, and Akhilesh never publicly said anything against Mulayam Singh Yadav, and they later made up too, politically, so to say. And Mulayam Singh Yadav was out of active politics for the last some time. But nevertheless, his death will lead to a big void in the politics of Uttar Pradesh and the country. Remember that he was also on the national stage in 1996. He became the defense minister under the United Front government at that point of time. And I think there was another very famous incident when he apparently publicly promised support to Sonia Gandhi, and then went back on it at the last moment, and Sonia Gandhi made a public statement saying that I have 272 plus, and then it did not happen. So he was politically very, very sharp, a very sharp politician. Of course, he was from the Etawah Manpuri belt in central Uttar Pradesh. his home village was Saifai, and we all know about Saifai and the kind of infrastructure that Saifai as a village got, and also the kind of opulent celebrations that involved big-time Bollywood personalities under his watch. So that is also something that I think needs to be remembered at this point of time. Another thing, and since we are discussing his legacy, another thing that one needs to speak about is that infamous incident way back in 1990 when the BJP and its campaign over the then Babri Masjid, Ram Janmabhoomi movement was giving it a lot of traction in Uttar Pradesh, and then that 1990 incident where he ordered firing on car sevaks that were as the chief minister who were proceeding towards Ayodhya, and I think 16 people were killed, and that till a long time he justified it, saying that his interest was not to open fire, so to say, or to cause any loss of life, but his interest was to save the mosque at that point of time. So that was something that he took a firm stand on. So a legacy politician, somebody who really scripted his own way in Uttar Pradesh, one of the state's tallest politicians, and that's why you also have had a situation where in the last some time you saw political leaders of all hues actually making a beeline to the Gurugram hospital, where he was admitted. In fact, the last image that I remember was of Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, who himself used to be UP chief minister many decades ago, and he also went to the Gurugram hospital where he was, where Mulayam Singh Yadav was admitted to check on him. The last images of Mulayam Singh Yadav, I remember, were from this meeting with Nitish Kumar, I think in August or very early September, where Nitish had gone to meet him as part of his mission 2024, where he wants to unite all opposition forces, and he went to hospital, and Mulayam Singh Yadav was there. He was on his hospital bed, and Nitish was filmed holding his hands. But it was an important stop for him, because even though Mulayam Singh Yadav was indisposed and he was ill, at the same time, he is something that no one can. He was somebody that nobody could ignore when it came to political formulations and combinations. So this was his legacy. Also, just one more point I'd like to speak about. If you remember, once he formed the government with the Bahujan Samaj Party, his arch rival, and this was in the 90s, if I remember correctly, and he got together with the BSP. It was a short-lived experiment, something that Akhilesh Yadav, his son, tried to replicate later on by combining with Mayawati, the BSP chief, for an election, for the national election. And again, the Samajwadi Party lost that election very badly, but he was somebody who was open to experimenting in politics, somebody who also believed, in being flexible about politics, and somebody who was a very, very tall leader at the end of the day. And his loss is very, very sad, very saddening, and leaves, like I said, a big space, a big hole in Uttar Pradesh politics.